Hi everyone, welcome to the Quint.
Hi, Tanisha. Hi, Tanisha.
Hi.
Congratulations on the overwhelmingly positive response that the Family Man season 2 has been getting. It's absolutely brilliant. I love the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you
so
very
much.
much.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for the wonderful review from Quint also.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. So, first of all, I want to talk about Raji. So, we see that she has been hardened by whatever circumstances, the unspeakable things that she had to go through on one hand. And on the other, we also see this terrific sequence between her and Sajid. So, what went into ensuring that the audience has a fair chance to empathize with Raji?
See, we are approaching every character to make them humanized characters. That's it. It's more than anything else about where they're coming from and what should people feel. More than that, it's about really giving respect and spending time on developing a character. At the end of it, it's as a story being told. We're storytellers. So the idea is anybody from that matter, if it's a secretary, chief secretary, or the prime minister, or Raji or Sajid, or anybody for that matter, you're trying to spend some time with the character to try and humanize them. Not even just humanize, but develop the character a little more. So they're not just single
I think,
cardboard characters.
Was the character developed after Samantha Akkineni came on board?
We wrote the character. We had a clear idea of the character. We wrote the entire script, everything. And then, of course, like we do with all the actors, once we have finished writing this character, creating this character, we give it to the actor to make it their own. Like we wrote a Shrikant Tiwari and then we gave it to Manoj, and Manoj made it his own. And now Shrikant Tiwari is the way that Manoj has made it, even though the basics of it might have come from what we wrote. And knowing Manoj, he doesn't take too much from what people tell him to do. But sorry, Manoj. But but in the case of Samantha, also we wrote Raji. We put the basis, we put the foundation, everything, and then Samantha took it and she made it her own.
We even had a nice sketch of what Raji should be, with a dagger, with like a knife and the clothes and sketch. And that's what we were circulating. That's what we were sending to people to say that, we're looking for an actor. That's how it started.
Because generally what we see also, the action sequences in which like Raji is a part of, generally when action sequences are written for women characters, they tend to be quite lousy. Like there's like a certain male gaze to them. So, but Raji is like the combat, the action sequences, she perfectly nailed it. It was so believable.
That was
Yes, it is.
That was the biggest challenge and the hope, to find somebody who can mold themselves into this character and hit the other person so hard that even if the guy is twice in size, will fall down. So that was the idea. That was the biggest worry for us. And when Samantha started sending us the training videos that she was doing with Yannick Ben, the action director, and he was training her in this. She's never ever fought or hit somebody
I don't think she's ever held a gun in any film of hers before this. How about that? So I don't think so.
The physicality, we were always marveling and asking, are you sure? Do you hit people in real life? I'm sure you hit, so that's why you're doing it so well. It was just her act. This is the pure, really, really good example of an actor coming in and becoming the character on page, taking it all, because it's not like finding who knows action, who can be good at punching and kicking and stuff. It's more like getting an actor and then developing into one.
So, which is your favorite character this season?
Yeah.
Each of you.
Okay, but we're not allowed to pick from Shrikant Tiwari or Raji or Chellam. Okay. Is that good?
My favorite character amongst minus the top 10, everybody loves anyway. Shrikant Tiwari. Shrikant to matlab thak gaye hain abhi praise sun ke. So I'm taking Raji, Samantha, everybody out, and I'll go for Umayal. The Umayal is the lady cop in Chennai, and she comes across pretty. There's a lot of integrity in her. Very single focused. She actually has a whole investigative series happening right there. The way she figures out Raji and the whole deal, And it's got this JK talking to her and talking about putting it in rice or telling him how to eat podi and idli with ghee. So, I really like how she's turned out into, and a really good performer.
I really like how Dhriti has shaped out in this season. Like, she was a girl in the previous season, and now she's growing up and she's grown up, and suddenly she has all these ideas, and she's talking back to her dad in language he doesn't even understand. And and she's a bit of a rebellious teen, and now she's seen more life than she should at this age, right, in the show. And so she's matured quite well. So we are also now very eager to see where Dhriti can go going forward, because she's now seen a lot for her age.
One of my favorite characters is PM Basu. I think one, Sina Viswas played her to the hilt, and two, she's a very interesting leader. I mean, she is at conflict at times with herself. She is at conflict with others as well. She's unilateral. She's a multidimensional personality. She's flawed. At the same time, she's a leader that I would vote for. She's a very interesting character by herself, and it's quite a unique personality.
Money, who's played Shruchi, my wife. I think I really feel that she's written very well. Yes, she's a very efficient actress. She's a national award winner. Having said that, I must also congratulate in all the writers in the manner they have written her graph. In first season, the whole conflict of the being a mother, a wife, and somebody who wants to get back to her job so desperately. And in second season, she's always conflicted between two things, whether to say it, whether to admit or not to admit. That conflict is, for me, so massive, so humongous, and Premani has done it very well. It was not an easy role to play, not at all, for any actor. And I'm saying it, when I exactly know as an actor how difficult it is to really communicate just with your being in that silence. And what you're trying to communicate is the whole lot of the biggest of the conflict in that she's going through.
Definitely. So since you mentioned PM Basu, I'd like to ask, is the character modeled on Mamata Banerjee?
No, I mean, in fact, we wanted to be far away from anything current. This was written some 2.5 years ago. The idea is not to shift focus from the story that we're trying to say into similarities with some characters, because I don't know how that helps a story. You're distracted, you're taken out, you're talking now about, oh, hey, he also wears a watch on his right hand or whatever it is, the whole thing. We've never been fans of it. We've never done it in all our films, series. We've never taken a person and modeled it usually. So it wasn't written 2.5 years ago. We just wanted far away from whoever is really in the center or wherever it is, so that the focus is on the character, not on relation to the real person in real life. So not at all. It was just a well-edged, smart, sharp lady who knows what she wants, and she's driven, and she's whipping her whip and getting stuff going. And Seema Biswas has been our favorite for a very long time.
One of the most striking features of The Family Man is the humor. So given the humongous success of season 1, what kind of pressure were you in to ensure that the humor doesn't become dated or slapstick?
That's pressure we have with everything we do, I guess, to have good humor and keep it exciting and interesting, and of course not get slapstick. So it has nothing to do with this season. I mean, with this show, in general, that would be pressure we would be facing, I think, whatever we write. And season 2, of course, I've said this before also, we had finished writing. We had already finished writing, developing. We were halfway into shoot. In fact, we had shot half of the show by the time season 1 released. So we had no idea what was in store for us. So season 2, in a lot of ways, is very organic and very its own entity. It wasn't. Of course, coming from season 1, their arcs, their motivations, emotions come through from season 1 as a good story should. But we always wanted season 2 to stand on its own feet as its own entity. barring these connections, which is why we chose an entirely different conflict in an entirely different area, giving us scope to explore something new that is not exactly what was happening in season one. And so, yeah, I mean, the pressure did hit us when we came close to the release. Suddenly, we became conscious that the expectations were humongous, and even the slightest thing that wasn't working quite well would be like a spotlight would be shown on it. So, I mean, I can safely say that all of us were shitting bricks in the last month until the release of the until the release on Friday.
Humor is not
Yeah.
something we try and say that let's make this scene funny. I think it's
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Go on.
No, I mean, yes, I was about to, Raj, you're so right, actually, that you, when you are doing it, you are not trying to come out of the character and scenes and you want to really entertain the audience with the humor or with some jokes. It's always about the scene and how to make the scene work and what are the other things that we can actually get into it, incorporate to make the characters work and make the scene work. At the end of the day, you are actually not thinking that people are going to laugh. Am I right, Raj?
Correct. It's not
Yeah.
about that. It's that we are smiling at it, and it's they're all incidental. They're all quirks of the guy, and if the actor doesn't do it like his own quirk, it's gonna fail also. Or Manoj looking at just looking at Athar for so long, and sometimes he makes up his own galis also. So the idea is that you set it up, and it's serious stuff. He's in season one. He's drunk. He's home. He's fought with his wife, and he's looking at the kid, and he does one stuff, and you might chuckle a bit that he's being so sweet and funny. It's just magic most of the time. The right, I think, the right foundation of writing, and then actors owning it.
So my next question is like there has been some chatter about Samantha's brown face. So while critic Anupama Chopra has said that the performance itself is so compelling that we can just get past it, but some others have expressed their unhappiness about it. So what was the reason behind getting the brown face?
The name itself, brown face, is hard to hear, even for us, harsh to hear when you hear it. Black face, we've grown up reading about it, seeing it, looking down upon it. So I get it when races are involved and you get a white person to play a black person or whatever, a brown person and stuff like that. It's a different point to getting a Tamil actress to play a Tamil actress. The idea is to get somebody fit for the role who can deliver 100%, and she did. And now the idea is to the beauty, the color, the color of skin is usually used in the context of beauty, saying that she's not so pretty because she's dark and she's this and that. That context is not in our series. There is no context. It's just a soldier or a warrior that's playing the part. That's it. And how do they look? How do they are weather beaten faces and suntan faces, and you don't have time to buy clothes. You're not looking at the mirror. You don't go to spa. So the idea is that she's the girl who's been living that life, and that's it. There's nothing two things about it. It's the right get up for the right character.
It is no different from her being fit for the role. So she actually worked out for a few months to get into the part of a role because she's a trained commando, she's a militant, and she had to learn martial arts and she had to learn a certain dialect. So everything is part of that character that we are creating, right? And there is no this is not an insult or anything bad in any sense, because we are not looking at it as if it is in any way that. We are just showing the person as she is, and she's a beautiful person and she's done a great job. And if you love the character, you're loving the character, and there is no statement made any other way.
So we've seen reports of NTK leader Seaman reiterating his call for a ban on the show. He had said it before also. So Seaman has alleged that the series sounds like the voice of the Sinhala government. So what do you have to say about these allegations?
We,
I don't think
DK and me are from South India. I'm from Andhra, from Tirupati. That's like 3 hours from Chennai, and DK is a Tamilian, and Suman is Tamilian too. So we are from there. We are from that region, and all we have is we've grown up in that region, and this is an opportunity for us to represent Tamil Nadu and Tamil people in the right way, because that's where we live. We know this bit. We grew up on the music. We grew up on the powerful cinema Tamil made. The one of the and the freedom of speech and the whole thing that Tamil Nadu had to offer, and it shaped our lives in great. So there is tremendous amount of love and respect to where we come from, and this was our opportunity to explore that part of the country which don't get explored so easily, and it might be even be stereotyped in a lot of cases. So our ideas was also that not to propagate the stereotypes, at the same point try and be truthful to or honest and balance the whole thing. So all I would like to say is that it's coming from a place of love and respect, and there is nothing we would deliberately do to hurt anyone's sentiments. And if most of you have seen the show, you can take that call. Forget me trying to give you an explanation. You've watched it, and everybody's watched it, and they can make that call.
Final question to Manoj. It's like, who do you think Shrikant Tiwari should be? The family man or the secret spy?
This is the conflict he's going through. So
Yes.
if I resolve that, the series will be over. So,
But personally, what do you feel?
I know I just love playing that part, in its totality. I love playing father and husband, troubled husband. I love being with my colleague. I love playing Shrikant when he's in his office. He just swiftly changes into high grade professional. What I love about Shrikant Tiwari is you must have observed it, that no matter what people say, this guy in second season is carrying such a huge psychological baggage. He's mentally disturbed. He's feeling as if he's holding the sand which is slipping away from his hand, only because his family is not happy, only because he thinks that he's unable to hold his family together. And the entire season he's carrying that baggage. It also means how important Shrikant Tiwari thinks is his family. No matter how great a professional he is, no matter how how much he enjoys doing his job or being with his colleagues, including JK, but it's the family that he wants to he wants to keep it together. He wants to protect that family. He wants to save that family, and it is so evident in the manner Shrikant Tiwari is traveling from A to B in season 2.
Yeah, so it's best that the conflict remains unresolved.
I mean, for now, definitely.
Thank you
as
so
long
much.
as it's unresolved, you'll have another season.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Thank you so much for talking to us. It's been a pleasure interacting
Thank you,
with
Tanisha.
you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our COVID ground reports cost us about 7.5 lakh every month. You can help our reporting from the ground. Go to thequint.com, click support the Quint tab, choose a plan and pay.